Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! You know, look, you see what happens? This show, that show and the one after it have already aired. They've already been on the air. And see that? See, I told you we needed to do that interview with Snarky and Tweety. Because look, now, not only are they not here to do their job today, I'm hearing, oh, jeez. You know, here's the thing. You had the opportunity that we could have done an interview with them a year ago, 2 years ago. No. And now look how they got us back. And these shows have already aired. They've already been on. They've already... Oh, look at that. They've already mocked us. Look at thankfully we've got the sound turned down a little bit so that it's not re-recording. But listen to that. They're reading they're reading the article about the medical marijuana. That's what. Okay. It looks like this might be actually the video portion we're looking at. We're looking at the video portion of the Sunday morning show, I think, which means they either they didn't mess with the Friday evening show, or maybe they messed with it in a different way. Because I can hear them, you can hear them. Thankfully, it's muted down, so the audience can't hear what they're saying. But just to let the audience know, just let you know out there, and my God, we're in the studio today. We're in the Comcast studio. We're not in Basil's home studio, but whereas usually we're looking at it, we're seeing the audience, and we're seeing, and of course we have a few hundred more items on the desk, on the table, and this is of course the studio table rather than Basil's. What is it made out of? It's granite with. It's a granite table. You might have seen tiny bits and pieces of it in between all the stuff. You've got Basil and his slippers on it. You've got some of our close at hand audience, the ones that are on the table. We've got Sharky. We've got the Cat in the Hat phone. We've got the Nickelodeon phone. We've got the Basil's piano behind us with all kinds of paraphernalia on that. Basil, his slippers, and no. I'm not laughing at you, Basil. I'm actually just a little miffed that Snarky and Tweety made fools of us. They overdubbed our news broadcast, and we were talking about some important things on that. We were talking again a little bit of more background about the Scottish referendum. I think we had a call in from Mel Gibson, who, as I recall, was blaming the referendum in Scotland for autonomy from the British Isles failing on a particular group which Mel Gibson, let's say, likes to blame for everything. We had Mel Gibson as a call-in. We had Denise the Celt, who's pretty much up the same alley as Mel Gibson as far as blaming a certain ethnic group for every everything that's ever gone wrong in the world, except the stuff they can pin on that black guy that's president. They say, Mel and Denise. They can't even bear to say his name, so they just refer to him as that black guy that couldn't possibly have ever been elected president in the United White States of America. So here you go. So the show's not only edited, but this one, and I bet the other one, I know the other one's shown too, and I bet they messed with that one too. But no, seriously. Oh, you can't see me? Oh, you know what? That's because I don't have the necktie on. That's. Well, you know what? How about if I, let me move the phone, and let me move Sharky and the medium-sized phone and the inky-dinky phone, and I only see one sponsor here today. Did we lose the rest of our sponsors? Oh, okay. There, see, I'm lying on the table. I'm draped across the table. Can you see me? Is it possible? Can you see me now, Basil? Can you see me? Basil said, meow, 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 meow. Said, yeah. Oh, he also said, said, who the hell put this Humbug fake Santa Claus hat on me? Not me. It wasn't me that did it. So, hold on. Oh, look, right up above you in the branch of the tree. Not this branch, but one of the little ones, a little further up. Might be off camera. It's Tweety. So Tweety's here. I see we've got hanging from the rafters of the Comcast studio up above the rest of the audience is Bill Murray, and Bill's here. He's up in his hammock. He's been here. I'm going to say Bill's been here since. Well, was he here when we did our homage to the National Football League champion, which we couldn't call by its real name, Super Bowl, because that's a copyrighted name, and we can't use copyrighted names on. So we did like our good friend Stephen Colbert did, and we actually referred to the game in February, the National Football League championship game. You can see National Football League, hopefully. Yeah, I think so. We did. And we called it the Superb Owl, just like Stephen Colbert did, except ours was probably, well, we got a note from him that said, yeah, I'm going to say it in cat first, so you can, because Stephen Colbert speaks cat, you speak cat, I speak cat, half the audience speaks cat. And kids, remember, you really need to learn to speak the language of your house cat, because, as you know, and we've maybe said it once or twice or 3 times or 1,000 times, probably more likely 3,000 times, you need to learn to speak the language of your house cat, because there are more households in America where cat is the designated second language in the household than there are households in America where, I don't know, let's say Spanish, Portuguese, Gaelic, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Italian, you could go down the list. Matter of fact, I bet there are more households where cat is the second language than there are households where all the other second languages are put together. That's the truth. It just is. So kids, again, you need to learn to speak the language of your house cat. And, we don't have the piano. We can't... Again, Basil said, who the hell put this Humbug fake Santa Claus hat on me? Well, I'll give you 3 guesses, Basil, and 2 of the guesses better be Snarky and Tweety, because I bet that's who did it. I'm going to take it off. Well, what? You know, okay. Basil gave me the counterclockwise rotation of 3 of his left whiskers. And that, of course, means, as we've discussed this before, that, of course, means that that he's saying, roll it back. Don't do what you were going to do. Don't do what you thought I wanted you to do. Okay, well, I can barely see. There are your eyes. Okay. So you want me to leave it on? Okay, I'll do that then. I'll leave it up there on top of your head, and you let me know when you want it to come off. Are you where the Wild Thing slippers? Are they okay? Are they comfy enough? Said meow, 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 meow. Said yeah, definitely yeah. Okay, that's why. Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit at the end that I didn't quite understand it. So you were actually weren't saying yeah, definitely yeah. You were showing off your literary skills, your librarian skills, and saying yeah, ibid, yeah. Well, yes, you don't have to say yeah, ibid. You have to say yeah, ibid. That's said. Okay. Now he's going to have to go. He has to go me one better now. And what he just said was, and I'll say it in cat first. And Bill, hey, he woke up. Bill Murray in the audience. Thank you very much, Bill. I'm sorry we don't have the piano with us today in the Comcast studio, so we're not going to be able to. Bill said, and he speaks cat. Bill said, meow, meow, meow. Said, how the heck did I get here? Well, maybe Snarky dragged you in, or Tweety flew you in. Tweety's up in this tree somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but I know for a fact, and not just because one of his feathers fell down. And we've got a peacock here in the studio, apparently, too, because we've got the two. Oh, okay, now those are the iridescent peacock feathers. And Basil likes to wear those as part of his regalia. But this is one of the underside peacock feathers. These are the feathers on the peacock that hold up the fancy-looking ones. He's got the plain ones underneath. It's kind of if you think of the feathers as being the wings of a building, so to speak. This would be part of the infrastructure. This is one of the. I guess not I bars, but since it's a feather, we'll call it an F bar. So, and you've got your Basil, you've got your tie on, but it's kind of obscured a little bit by. Look at that. Yeah. It's one of the two shows, and we'll probably be having that show up on the TV screen next. But it's one of the two shows, and it says on it. It says "Afangul." Snarky, Tweety. I didn't know you guys spoke Italian. Okay, it says "Afangul," signed Snarky and Tweety. Okay, so it's that's it. So, well, is the phone? I guess the phone's hooked up. I guess it's hooked up. So, oh yeah, it's plugged in. Okay, it's plugged in. And like I said, we've got. Oh, great! He's got. I don't know if you can see it, but he's got. He's got some of our, I guess it's our former sponsor, Tootsie Roll. He's got a little bit of Tootsie Roll on his flank. And I guess this is the only one we're left with. This is our one and only, product that we've been able to hold on to. Although, we talked last week about how we're thinking of picking up the Anheuser-Busch endorsement. At least we'll be able to endorse them and get some cha-ching from them for endorsing them, because they've gotten a little bit skeevish about having the NFL endorse them, because I think the official word from Anheuser-Busch was, God forbid that we should be endorsed by any product which leads men to go into bars and beat up people. Exactly. I guess what they're saying is violence belongs in the home, not in the bar. So, at any rate, but we do have our old standby P A&W root beer, and the P is it's not painted and it's not airbrushed, and actually it's a felt tip pen. So maybe we're going to get the felt tip pen business too for our corporate sponsor. But anyway, P A&W root beer, Pause root beer, since 1919, and I think one of your ancestors may have. That might be something. I think that's the P A&W is the P is the extra spice that sets it apart from the other root beers. But apparently, one of your ancestors used this as an adjunct to their litter pan back in 1919, and the smell has certainly aged since then. Oh, made with aged vanilla. That must be what it is. It's got to be aged vanilla. Now let's take a look at the ingredients first of all. Bill, he went back to sleep. Bill, did you want to talk a little bit more? We were talking a little bit about the Washington football 11 and how they're fighting back. They're fighting against having to change the name of their football team, because they say that it's certainly doesn't depict Native Americans in a bad light. It's after all, their skin is brown. Okay, I'm not going to go any further with that one right now. Oh, rootbeer.com. Okay, they got that one. We'll give them credit for that. Carbonated water. Let's go down the list of ingredients here, because it's important that the audience and those folks at home watching know that P A&W root beer has in it carbonated water, yellow carbonated water. Must be the Schweppes that they took from the other can. Carbonated water, yellow carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, always a must in every good drink. Caramel color, sodium benzoate, preservative, natural and artificial flavors, and one tiny little piece off the cheek of a Washington football player. Okay, let's see. That's about it. Okay, yeah. So, but Bill, you got a can of Schweppervescence up there somewhere we can use to? We don't have the 8-ball. Our little 8-ball. We don't have the 12-ball, which of course is highly regarded because it's got 50% more 8-ball in it. You want to do some news? Okay. Okay, what do you want to talk about? What's the subject matter? We don't have the chart that we hold up that says screw Fox News, here comes cat news. So you'll just have to take our word for it that this is cat news. And said, says I'm ready for that bah humbug to come off. Good. Hey, I found Tweety. Hold on. Got him. Okay. Okay, Tweety's going to wear the hat for a little while. Fell off and Tweety flew away. Let's just pretend we have. Let's just bring in a fake. Hold on, let me see if we actually. Let's lively up the screen a little bit and see if we actually have. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, hold on. Yep. Okay. I think if the camera can see it. Okay. Bah humbug. Okay. So you want to talk about, well, while I was doing that, Basil informed me that he wants to talk about salutes. And Basil and I were, well, actually it was Kristen, our producer, Kristen Schoenfeld, who put up on her Facebook page, and if you look up Kristen Schoenfeld, and that's Kristin, 2 I's, Schoenfeld, SCHOENFELDT, and look her up on Facebook, and you'll see that she posted a little remark about being fed up with this fake latte salute. And she also posted a couple of pictures of this guy that used to be president a while back coming off of the helicopter, and he's got his very adorable little dog, his little black Scotty called Barney. He's got him in his arms, and Barney's kind of got his tail stuck in the Bush's pocket of his shirt, and he's doing something with that. I don't know what. But so he's got Scotty, and while he's got Scotty in his I think it's his right hand, he's saluting the officers, the Marine officers that are there, because you always have one or two at least Marine officers there to greet the president every time he returns home from being out of town. And so we have these pictures of George W. Bush doing, I guess you have to call it the Scotty salute, or I guess you could call it the dog's ass in my pocket salute, if that's what it's. Well, some part of his nether regions are kind of cradled into GWB's pocket. So, and then along comes my son Colby, who posts on the thread that Kristen has put up there about the latte salute, and he points out something that amongst the 34 consecutive hours of Fox News coverage of how dare he salute a Marine or any armed service member in such a disrespectful way. He hates our military. Colby points out that only military people salute military people. And true. And if you go back through the history of presidents, you only find the ones that are military people, and that would include, of course, Basil and my personal favorite, Dwight D. Eisenhower, general in the European theater during during the Second World War, the ETO, European Theater of Operations. You have, you also have amongst them General Ulysses Grant. You have, I don't know if they had even begun doing this with the first president, George Washington, who of course was a general. There's only a few presidents who've actually been military people. Theodore Roosevelt, Basil and perhaps our second favorite president of all time, because great environmentalist, even though he was a hunter, which tells us that hunting is not necessarily a bad thing. We know it's not a bad thing. We don't consider it a bad thing. It's part of the way humankind has fed itself for as long as humankind has been on Earth. Went to a more agrarian kind of economy later on, but hunting has always stayed with us as a means of gathering food for the table, even when there weren't any tables. So we've got these few presidents that have been qualified to actually salute the troops and have saluted the troops. And I guess we'll have to check and see, but I think it's G.W. Bush that decided that, he did play the Air Force pilot when he flew in on that jet onto the aircraft carrier off the coast of San Diego. I think it was about 15 feet off the coast of San Diego, dealing with very choppy seas, high seas, and et cetera, with the big banner, mission accomplished. We remember that pretty well. And then the camera tilted a little bit, and we saw that the ship was actually so close to San Diego that they had to actually take it a little further out to sea. So it wasn't so very obvious. It wasn't so very obvious that it was right there next to the city of San Diego. So here we go. So we've got this what's been dubbed the latte salute, and Kristen's pretty miffed about that. And we had a good conversation going on where Colby pointed the obvious out. It wasn't obvious to either Basil or I for that until Colby pointed it out. But and it really mocked the way that Fox News was creating a story that wasn't really a story. It was all fictitious, all made up, all designed to try to create an illusion, and that's part of what they do. That's their job. Rupert Murdoch demands it of them, and Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity and those three little blonde-headed kids that are on. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's Yeah. See. I didn't hear the big phone ring. Let me pick it up and see if anybody's there. Hello, Basil BuddhaCat presents. Huh. Tweety, you have got your, no, Tweety's not even...
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Meow.